having to give up surfing after 50-odd years of being in the water. I did not want to, but I had no choice. My wife and I moved to Long Beach. We bought this apartment back in 2006. I've been surfing here since, at that point, since 1966. And it's a very active community, and this is where I wanted to be. Whether I surfed or not, I just didn't have the concept that I wouldn't be able to surf. So we moved down here. The active community on the boardwalk, the community itself in general, a lot of activity going on. This was the place for me to retire, for us to retire together. Giving up surfing, I figured eventually I would probably be too old to surf, but not yet. Well, I had knee replacement surgery in June of 2022, and following subsequent PT, and it left me with a certain bend to my knee, and I was out of the water at that point because of the knee surgery, and I did not think I was going to be able to surf again. I was ready to just give it up, get rid of the boards. Right after the surgery, it was that first month was hell. Prior to and after the surgery, I was somewhat depressed about my physical condition. Not only the knee, I knew I'd be able to walk again, but how much could I really exercise? Will I stay in shape? Will I be able to do other things as well? Will I be able to run around with my grandson and granddaughter? PT was okay. I mean, it got me to where I was mobile, but I wanted to be back to the levels of activity that I was before. I just knew that it had to be more. There had to be more that I could do. I wasn't going to be stuck in this way with just that, limited range of motion. Bumped into Cody, Sean, and Justin from Active Life while the space was being prepared, and spoke with them outside. I was hobbling by with a cane just about a month after the surgery, and we spoke about myself, my knee, my goals, and I stayed in touch with Cody, and as soon as I finished PT, I signed up. Cody asked me, what are my goals? And my goal was to get back into the water and be able to surf. That was enough of a goal. If I could surf, I could do anything. He said, we could help you. We'll get you there. It'll take so many sessions. And then I signed up. Kate evaluated my range of motion with various parts of my hands, my ankles, my knees, what have you. And we started working out immediately. That was in the end of February. At Active Life, it was very focused. We knew what the goal was, and Kate and Cody explained exactly the process that would happen. Everything hurt at first, believe me. The foam rolling, the wrist bending, each of the exercises was certainly a challenge, but I was up for the challenge, and I knew that the outcome would be better than it was without having the activity. It was actually fun. I looked forward to it. I still do. The exercises are varied. I have homework that I come home to. I get an Active Life email rather, and I have activities to do every single day, exercise activities. And I'm in the gym right now at Active Life 3 days a week in the Ascend program. And I was doing 3 days a week from the end of February right through till I transitioned into Ascend. It was a great experience.
Stay low. Good. Here you go.
Timing is critical.
Mm-hmm. A little bit faster. Yeah. We'll get there though. This is the first time we're doing this.
Yeah. With the program, my confidence has developed leaps and bounds, and it's been more than just here, just in general, just feeling more confident and doing things more confidently. So that's very important to me. It's been more than just a physical activity, which is, I think, is very positive. Well, Active Life is, again, all-encompassing. It includes a mental component with confidence, nutrition as well. The exercises was not like being in a quote-unquote gym. All right, very tailor-made, very specific, and building capacity to accomplish those exercises was very interesting for me. We had sessions where we talked about pain threshold, for example, besides just nutrition as well, and confidence in general. Larry, are you going to be able to surf again? Well, I hope so. No, you will be able to surf again. And that's what it instilled in me. It's an environment that is just totally positive. Everyone there is positive. Even working out and watching other people work out, everybody has a smile on their face. The biggest surprise for me was accomplishing what the goal was. I really was not sure. I was unsure at first. I said, let's give it a shot. Bought the first 12 sessions, and after that it was good to go. I didn't think I would go from session 1 to session 12 feeling as good as I did. Seeing the outcomes, the positive outcomes in that short period of time, we're talking about a month. It worked for my knee, but it worked for me in general. All right, it worked for my health, my mental state, building that confidence. I just knew that this was going to be an overall success for me. And here we are today and getting back into the water. First time since late August 2021. Excited. No problem.
First time I've in 2 years, and that was great.
I intend to surf until I can't surf any longer for whatever reason it may be, whether it's physical or the ultimate. I intend to be able to walk, cycle, surf, continue an active life. I don't see this ending at this point. We have an expiration date. Okay, whenever that date may be, I don't see one for me at this point.
It was really, it was the worst thing that's ever happened in my life so far. The not knowing, the uncertainty, the pain. It really. My name is Colette White. I'm 62 years old, and I've been coming to Active Life for 6 months. I had a total hip replacement in August. I was at a girlfriend's house and I fell. I had the total hip replacement, I went to rehab, I did some PT, and then it was time to move on. I've always been active. I've always been able to do what I want to do. Then in August, when I fell, my whole life changed. A day in my life is getting up and walking on the beach with my dog. I'm a yoga teacher, so I have private clients come to my house, and I also teach at a studio. So I had to stop working once I fell. The accident was a real head, I'm gonna say it, real head f***. Okay, it really messed with my head. I was determined to come back. My husband got diagnosed with MS, and it's progressive, and sometimes he falls. And I have to be available to help him up. And I just said, I have to do this. I have to get strong again. Where there's a will, there's a way, and I'm definitely a survivor. I wasn't a match for a normal gym because I needed guidance. I needed someone to show me, and I started interviewing gyms. The gym down in the West End guided me here, which I thought was really cool. One gym telling a potential client about another gym. That's how I found Active Life. What happened here was I had an evaluation. The questions that they were asking me, the evaluation that they were doing for me, I mean, they got me on a mat and asked me to do a few things so that they could see and prescribe a program just for me. And we started really slow. That's what I love about it. I wasn't asked to do anything I couldn't do. It was all positive steps. We've had a lot of emotional sessions. I was crying a lot. Crying also for joy, out of achieving, out of accomplishing. More sets, heavier weight. And now I'm gonna get emotional. Even when I was making doctor appointments, she was there for me. She was like, call me when you get out of the doctor. Tell me what the doctor says. Let me talk to some of my mentors and see what they say. She's always been there for me, and I never had that before. I found time for myself. Now I'm at the gym 3 days a week. I had to do this work here. Physical therapy was not giving me what this place has given me. And I've also gained friendships. You know, I've met new people, like-minded people. That's the way I want to spend my morning.
I know. I'm dying.
I think it's hot in here
You're
today.
doing amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Full hip replacement, so depressive.
Thanks a lot. I found yoga when I was 40 years old, and I was overweight, and a friend of mine asked me to go to a yoga class, and I went into my first downward dog and had trouble holding myself up, and I literally cursed her out. I went on Weight Watchers at the same time and lost weight, started my practice. Okay, my friends, it is so nice to see you all back. It's nice to be back, isn't it? I know, there's something about community that really touches home. Touches home. I'm going to read you a poem from Dana Folds. It's called Birthright. Despite illness of body or mind, in spite of blinding despair or habitual belief, who you are is whole. Let nothing keep you separate from the truth. The soul, illuminated from within, longs to be known for what it is. Undying, untouched by fire or the storms of life, there is a place inside where stillness and abiding peace resides. You can ride the breath to go there, despite doubt or hopeless turns of mind. You are not broken. My heart recognizes the light in each of yours, and for that, I am forever grateful. Namaste. It felt good to go back to work. It felt good to get back on the mat. I learned the whole value of the whole scope of yoga, and I take that from the mat into my world. I take this from this building, from this room, into my world. You know, when I had to hesitate to go up a curb to decide which foot I was going up with, I don't have that any longer. The best thing is confidence. I have a grandson that I crawl on the floor with, that I chase all over the place. I chase him all over the place. I was able to hold him as an infant and walk. That was one of my goals. And walking on the beach, yeah. See, like I would have never done that. Like just stepping like that, I would have never done that. I'm just happier. I am happier. And I learned that there's things you can say to someone that's feeling pain, and there's things that you have no idea. The best thing to do is have them open up to you and just listen. I want to be able to accomplish my everyday life without any hesitation. I got to do it. Like right now I'm thinking, can I run? I don't even know if I could. I said to Kate, could I run if my grandson was in trouble? I don't know if I could run. I haven't done it yet. I haven't tried it. I just want to be able to do anything I want to do and feel the confidence and the excitement of the freedom of saying yes. You come here.
There was no like pinpointed time where like I took one swing and I was just like, yep, that was it. It felt like I've been playing volleyball for like 15 years now. So it's like, I think at some point they was just overdoing it or overworked. Painful here one day, a little bit painful the next day, a lot more painful following day. And at some point it got too much where I said, this is not how I can play anymore. To not play volleyball anymore would be like a big part of my life. I look forward to it every summer. I've been playing for 15 years, playing in high school, playing in college. Didn't really see myself not playing volleyball. All my friends know how much I love volleyball, how much I play volleyball. So it's kind of just like one of those things where it's like, Nick's not playing volleyball, like something's not right there. So when I went to the doctor, got the MRI, they said it was a tear in my labrum, and they said the only way to fix it was surgery. And I said, well, then I'm not getting surgery because didn't want it to affect my career. So I said, all right, well, I got to find another option here. Full year, I said, well, if I don't use this shoulder, maybe it won't hurt as much when I play volleyball. Last summer, went out there, played volleyball. First night there, took a swing, shoulder was still painful, still hurt. So I said, it's not going to work this summer either. And then my friend told me that Active Life might be a place for you. Gave him a call, checked them out, and by September, I was working with them, fixed my shoulder. I remember first day we sat down and they just talked like, you know, how can we be a good fit for you? How can you be a good fit for us? And, you know, I just let them know my story that, you know, I don't want surgery. I want an alternative. I want to get back on the beach. And I had like tunnel vision almost. I was just like, whatever I can do to get back on playing volleyball and be on the beach, like I'll do it. So that was like my top goal. And then we came up with some other goals there too, just being able to go to the gym, build a routine on my own, so I can like strength and recovery, you know, once that freedom part hit and I was leaving Active Life. And the third goal was to hopefully put on some mass or gain a little weight to just look a little better too. So those are my three goals coming in. They just get to know you on a more personal level too. So you build that connection. It's not, you're not just like a client, you're not just a piece of paper. You know, they are there to help you. And just based on like that initial connection, that initial consultation, that initial meeting, I was like, this is a good fit for me. At first, like no one ever wants to like open up about things that are like holding you back and things that are stopping you from being like the best version of yourself. So there was times that I was definitely a little bit more reserved, but again, building that connection and that relationship with Sam and Kate and Cody, it's just, they make it easy for you to open up about it. They make it easy for you to be able to say what you want, what your goals are. And they're there to help you, and they're going to get you there. On that active life, I was building the muscles up around my shoulder, and to me, it was so interesting to find out that you had a little bit of deficiencies here and there, right? So your left hip was a little bit weaker than your right one, or your ankle's not as flexible. Your left ankle's not as flexible as your right one. So they dive in so much deeper than just, hey, my shoulder hurts. So you go through this whole body transformation almost of just figuring out where I can improve something to help lessen the load on that shoulder. There was a moment when I came in, I want to say around January. So my goal was to come back in March to start playing volleyball. So January came around and I was working with Sam, and she's like, bring a volleyball. I said, okay. So I brought a volleyball in, and we were right here, and I just, threw it a little bit and then hit it down at the ground back at her. And it was almost like a light bulb moment where I was just like, that didn't hurt. A couple months ago during the beach, that's the exact movement that would hurt, and it didn't. So it kind of just put a big smile on my face, hey, this is working and it's possible. The last summer I would warm up with the friends, teammates, and I would just do that little motion, and I would sit there and immediately just go for it. And I said, just start rubbing it or moving it. I said, it's not great, it doesn't feel good. Having that same movement here and then doing it here and not having that initial oh, my shoulder, it was great. So the biggest surprise I had was probably just a change in my own mindset, and more of how much I've changed mentally, and instead of how, I did change physically, and I continue to change physically, but to me the biggest surprise was how much my mental state changed and how my perspective on things changed and my outlook on different opportunities in life changed. Building up that confidence and people telling you, your friends and telling you that you look good. Oh, I can see a difference in you, and I can see a difference in how you're acting, and dates, women, food, sleep, all those things was helped me change that. There was a lot of emotions. I was excited mostly, and a little nervous because I was worried that, what if all this work that I've been putting in, and the first swing I go out there and it starts hurting again? It's all right, now what? But I was really excited to go back out there, and I'm trying to be smart about it and take it slow, get my reps in first, working my way there. But it felt great to be back out there and be the player that I was. The first swing when I got out there, and there wasn't that shooting pain in there. There was, again, just a huge smile that came over me, and I was just well, it's possible, and it's happening. So there was no sharp pain. There was no mental blockage of, all right, don't swing right now because you're worried that you might set yourself back. So it was just going out there playing for the freedom that I've always played with. So I played fours the other night, and we went 4-0, and we were on the top court, and it would just, the sense just came over me that I got a shoulder that can do this again. And I'm back out there it's not holding me back anymore. And it was a great feeling. To me, active life is so much more than physical therapy or sports rehab place. You come in with a goal of getting back to life without pain and compensating for something that's holding you back, and it opens your eyes to so much more than you even knew about yourself or thought was possible.
My back pain came from when I had some surgeries, just the way that I had to lay, and I started, after a year or two, I would get up from, sleeping. I couldn't get out of bed without hunched over like a 90-year-old woman, and it would take me really close to a half an hour or so just to stand up straight. And I just didn't want to deal with that kind of pain anymore. It was very debilitating trying to run around after the kids or do things right away. It wasn't great. My name is Leah Rosenzweig-Tozer. I'm 48. I'm a real estate broker for Daniel Gale Sotheby's International Realty. I have always been more of a pressure cooker kind of person. I can't really sit still for a long period of time at all. I've been working since I'm 11 years old. It's just the way that I'm built. I just need to make sure that my physical body is able to keep up with what's happening up here. For me, I work off of this. I can check in on my family on this. It's everything sort of comes from here. I don't really unplug every once in a while, but listen, when you're working at a high level, this is what you have to do. You have to work. I have to make sure everything's okay. I used to work out a lot. I used to do boxing and running and biking. I did the Long Island Century. I mean, I did a lot of really great physical activity. And then I had children, and it kind of fell off. I didn't make that a priority, but I would like stretch and do certain things, but I really never got myself back into like a working out type of place. I always thought that you had to work out 5 days a week for hours and sweat and be on crazy diets to really get the results I wanted, but I don't know that I ever really understood what I actually wanted out of being healthy. But for me, what I'm doing now is exactly the way I always envisioned it for myself. When I came in here and sat down and listened to what they're doing, it's not a gym, it's not regular training. I have a specific issue. When you have a specific issue, it affects everything in your life. We figured out that I have imbalances in both sides of my body, things going on with my hips, my back, my ankles. And it just makes sense. It's smart. It's a different way to understand your body and why things are happening. It's very impressive and it's extremely scientific, and it really just makes sense. When I first came to Active Life, it was not like anything I had done before. The first thing was, how are you breathing? It went into, how do you breathe? So I was like, oh, I breathe like, how you normally breathe. And immediately Sam's like, that's not how you breathe. And I said, okay. And I actually had to learn how to breathe with my diaphragm instead of breathing in my chest. Starting from these, what you think are like little changes, makes such a difference. I'm able to, if I feel high stress, I can stop, I can do some breathing. It changes how my body feels, it changes my mindset. I'm able to like move on. So it's an education into yourself, how everything works, and how do you make your body more efficient so that you can do the things that you need to do. It's so specific to your personal body, and I notice that I do different things than everybody else does. Some movements may be the same, depending on what you're working out with, but it is so geared to what I'm trying to accomplish, instead of just going somewhere where you're like, do this, do that, and like off you go.
When Leah started here at Active Life Long Beach, she had lateral hip instability, she had instability in the ankles and the shoulders as well. She also had a lot of fear around movement, so the kinesiophobia around different things that she had done in the past that made her really nervous to do specific exercises. So where we're at now, it is way further than I anticipated us being, right? She was unsure if she really wanted to move heavy weights. The stability in the hips is gone. The ankles are still work in progress. She plays a lot of golf. She wears a lot of different shoes when she's showing houses, things like that. And the shoulders are definitely way stronger.
I love when Sam asks me questions as we're going through.
Your back. Oh yeah, right? There's 4 muscles that go like this, that connect into your spine. Help make them stronger. You're on your feet a lot all day. You do play the golf, so we need those muscles to be strong and good at helping stabilize.
And I don't like back fat.
That too.
You focus on like the muscles. So she's always like, we're doing your slings. Why are we doing that? So it's really pinpointing, that specific muscle or why I'm doing this. So if we do it for golf purposes, I know that if I'm, trying to get my swing better or I have to get a better rotation, I know that this is the exercise that's helping me for that particular goal. So it's just a very smart, intelligent way to like move through those exercises. And I love being engaged, and I love that she asks me all of these questions and lets me know why we're doing it. It just makes it that much more impactful.
Good. Nice job. 3 more, Leah. Last one. Woo!
In the last 4 to 5 months coming here, I have a huge transformation in how I feel in many different levels. One, my golf game has improved dramatically. That my golf pro says it all the time, like, tell Sam you're doing a great job. I also feel so much more confident and better in all of my clothes. Everything is tight. I see a massive difference in pretty much every body part that I have. It just makes me feel so much better. I feel healthier. My kids see it. My husband sees it. My friend. It's just good. It makes me feel good. And I only have to come like 3 days a week. It's not like I need to be here every single day, like dripping with sweat, like, falling over and not being able to walk. It's just not like that. I've definitely felt a transformation in my career as well, because when you feel really confident, you're not worrying about other things, and you're able to focus so much more on what it is that you're doing, rather than, oh, I have to worry about how my back feels, or, if you're in any kind of pain, you're never gonna function the way you are when you're not in pain. I think that is so important. Even just when I'm walking or I'm sitting, I feel better. I'm not worried about like, I'm gonna trip over something and something's gonna happen. It changes your entire mindset, which translates into everything else that you're doing in life.
So a few months ago, you were limited almost 2 inches from the floor, and you had sciatic nerve sensations. Now you just have regular sensations of stiffness in the hamstrings. So, good job.
My back feels amazing. I haven't had an issue. It was funny, my daughter went to sleepaway camp and we stayed in, a bed and breakfast. I was so nervous because the bed was like really soft and big. I was like, oh my God, my back. In my head, I was already, oh, I'm gonna be in pain. It's gonna be terrible in the morning. And I woke up and I got out of bed and I was like, wait a minute. I wasn't in any pain. That never would have happened before. And I realized, I'm like, wow, I'm this strong that I can deal with something like that, and it had no impact on me whatsoever. And that was a real like aha moment for me.
Work hard your whole life, and you get to a point where you should be able to relax, but you don't feel good, and you can't travel, or you can't walk down the block. That's not rewarding, and I think.
And he really wasn't able to walk down the block.
And I think that a lot of people have these issues.
That was a concern for me, because I started to think about the future, and as we got older and what was going to happen, I want to be able to do exercise and move, and want to be able to travel, and I want a companion, and if he couldn't do it, that would be difficult.
This
Wolfgang is 3.
I don't know where Fox is.
Fox is on top of the fire.
My name is Chuck Bernclau. I'm 69, doing this for 10 months now.
I'm 68, and we've been together, we met at the end of 1990, so however long that is. 34, it'll be 35 at the end of this year, my goodness.
I knew that I had to do it, because if she was going to do it, she was going to be in much better shape than me, and I would never be able to keep up with her. And I think that's what I said to you. I said, I'm not going to be able to keep up with you if I don't do this.
You still can't
so we
keep
both
up
have
with
to.
me.
We both have to. Well, ask them over there who's keeping up with who. It's only a contest with yourself. It's like, how far can I go? That's one of the great things that they do there is they say, what do you want to be able to do? And the first thing I said to Kate is I want to be able to stand with my bass and play a set standing up like I used to.
I had this herniated disc which originated from a fall many, many years ago, and it was never really treated. I'd been dealing, with that, and it uncomfortable, but also just really wanting to stay in shape, wanting to feel strong, wanting to feel flexible, especially as we get older. I mean, it's like a very important motivator for me in terms of doing this.
All I ask is that I can carry my equipment and, move the groceries in and carry some bottles, stand up my bass like a normal person, be able to go for a walk. So for me, it was really more about, I just don't want to be an invalid, and I'm not that old. I don't want to be sitting in a chair my whole life and just getting fat. So that was really my main motivator.
We've been in yoga classes and Pilates classes, and you do get some one-on-one attention. But the big difference for me is that here you're getting one-on-one attention. The approach is much more holistic than other places would ever be. So they're not just looking at, oh, well, you could lift this weight. They're looking at, your stress level, what you're eating. They're making great recommendations on how to, just make your lifestyle better. And, I work out with Sam. She's wonderful. And she's just incredibly flexible and adaptable.
I could have joined the gym, but, I know a little about working out from over the years, but I really don't know what I'm doing. And I certainly can't tell that, my range on one leg is less than the other. I didn't even know about that stuff. I didn't know that my left leg was weaker than my right leg and my left arm is stronger than my right arm. I had no idea, until I started doing this stuff. And it's a big difference. I never would have gotten the balance.
I like having my, someone watching my form and tweaking it even if it's a little bit. That really works for me, and working out with a really good trainer.
With Ascend, it's even more of a feeling like I can do this myself now. Even though every time I'm in Ascend, even if it's a class where there's a lot of people doing Ascend, whoever that person is that's watching, they don't miss a thing. I hear them from across the room. Chuck, you're dropping the shoulder, they're always watching. So however they're trained, you're not left on your own to mess up. I've never had an issue with feeling like, oh, nobody's watching me, they don't know what I'm doing. They're always watching you.
Because there are days that I go in there and everything is kind of hurting. And then I go in and I think, all right, how am I going to work out? And somehow I do it. And I'm lifting these weights and doing these bends and twists and this and that. And I'm thinking, isn't this interesting? Like, despite how my body might be feeling, my body is able to do this. And that's the gift of active life.
When you come home after this, you're tired and you're sweating and you're like, yeah, but I did it, Yes. And I know I did it right because somebody was watching me.
When we were in Edinburgh, the streets are very uneven, very hilly, cobblestoned, all of that. And we went with a friend of ours, and she was looking at me like going up and down these cobbled streets and so on and so forth. And she said, "You're moving along like a mountain goat." And I thought, oh yeah, I am doing pretty well here. I felt like my balance was good, and I was able to navigate.
The year before this, we went to London with the same friend, and I was unable to do some of the walks. And when we got to Scotland, I could keep up with either one of them. I'm walking up this crazy staircase, and I'm like, I couldn't have done this a year ago. I couldn't have done this at all.
You couldn't have done that. Scotland would not have been a trip.
And it was nothing for me. This time I wasn't even thinking about it. It wasn't even like, oh man, I can't, I'm pushing myself to do this. I just did it. So that's the other good thing, is you don't have it in the back of your head, that I got to push myself to do this. You just can do it.
I just feel like stronger and more fit, and that I'm doing the right thing for me. So it's like an overall epiphany. It's not one moment, it's just an overall feeling that this is what I want to be doing, and this is what I want to continue doing, and it's only going to help me with other forms of exercise we do.
So this is like really good, because before people would look at me and go, do you want me to help you with that? You know, and it's embarrassing when you know, somebody looks at you and says, do you need help? Nobody asks me if I need help now when they see me. You know, I don't get that anymore.
They say it behind your back.
I was already on a health and wellness journey, but I knew I needed something more. I couldn't get up off the floor. You know, I had gone to traditional gyms, I had done water aerobics, and it just wasn't enough. And being 65 years old, I had read a lot about, you know, weights were good, weight training was better, and, you know, I thought this might be a good choice. My name is Lori Rinaldi, and I've been coming to Act for Life for over 6 months now. My most thing was my granddaughter. She's 6, and to keep up with her, she's definitely my why. She is the reason I wake up every morning. So that was my thing. I couldn't get up off the floor quick enough, and she's 6 and crazy and, you know, going all day. So I wanted to be able to be around for her. I was also walking, even just the boardwalk, feeling out of breath. I was out of breath, walking upstairs, walking uphill, you know, because I had the health and wellness and I was doing all of that, and this just gave me more confidence. And I can say now that when I look in the mirror, I like what I see. I still wasn't liking everything that I was seeing, and I still wasn't able to do the things that I was able to do, you know, and that seemed to like all of a sudden happen, like boom, you know, there was a change. I needed the mentorship, and that's not in a traditional gym. When I first had the first conversation with Cody over the phone, and then I was paired with Sam, which I was thrilled about, you know, because we had met in the library, but it was that hour-and-a-half conversation of, I wasn't just coming here and it was like, okay, here's what you have to do. This is it, you know, look at it, whatever, and I'll check on you once in a while. It was an assessment of what I could do, how I could do it. It was a meal plan. I wasn't eating enough protein. I wasn't eating the right time. I wasn't sleeping correctly. And that's what they give you. And I never found that in any other gym. And I can tell you, I was a Bally's gym person. That's how old I am. So that's where, you know, this is so different, and this is what I needed. They put your head in a place and they make you feel confident. They, you know, they cheer you on. Even the other clients, we cheer each other on. And I don't know them, you know, and I didn't know Justin or Cody or Sam or Kate before I came in here, but they're my friends now. And I know I can come in here, and if I'm like, you know, today I'm just having a tough day, I don't know why. I'm like, okay, well, what did you do last night? You know, did you have a bad weekend, or did you not sleep well, or are you stressed about something? It's not like, okay, well, then don't worry, don't do that. They're gonna make me do it, but they're gonna wanna know why I can't do it. And if I really can't, they're not gonna push me, but they're gonna make sure that I'm doing it safely, and they're gonna find out why. And by the end of the session, usually I'm okay, and I'm ready to go, and I'm like, okay, I'm good, I'm gonna do my work. So it's kind of my therapy too. I came in here knowing that I was gonna spend money that actually would make me come here when I've spent money in a gym and never showed up. You know, traditional gym, I've never, like, you know, I would be like, oh, I don't have to show up because no one's gonna know except me. Here, if I don't show up, someone's gonna know. I could not get up off the floor without holding on. I can do that now. And when I do it, there's people here like, hey, yay, you did it, you know? So, and again, I need that accountability. I need that pat on the back. I need someone to give me that confidence because I don't think I was confident before. I came in one day and said, you know, to Sam, like, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm finally liking what I see. I'm liking it and I'm proud of me and what I'm doing.
Active Life has absolutely been working for me. Enjoy coming here. I don't think that I've missed a session. It's important to me to, get up and come and get the work done. My name is Michael Davi. I'm 55 years old and I've been coming to Active Life for 7 months. I'm an attorney. I've been practicing law for 23 years now. I am currently the head of commercial litigation for Con Edison. If you have a case that's going to trial, that's probably the most amount of stress you can ever experience. And stress can also be determined by where you work and who you work with. Other things take over in your life, whether it's having young kids and you're dealing with family stuff or your career. So even though it's important, in the back of your mind you always feel like you have more time. And I guess as I've gotten older, I realized I need to prioritize this if I want to continue to be healthy and active as I get older. My partner Lori had found Active Life. I think they were here at an event in Long Beach, and she had walked up to their booth and started talking to them and thought this would be something that would work for her. I saw her doing it for a couple of months and saw that it had made a big impact in her life and her commitment to it. And I said, this is something I need to try for myself because I think it is what I've been looking for. She had belonged to a different, I'll use the word gym, before joining here, and I never had an interest in joining that one. I did not like that process, and ultimately I think she didn't like it either, and which is why she left that gym and came to this facility and started working with Active Life. It was very different. It was very customized. Came in, they did an assessment, my abilities, right? Where were my limitations and where did I need to work, which is completely different than what Lori needed. And then also an education, right? You come in and they talk to you. And one of the things I've taken from here that I use in my personal life is this idea of load versus capacity. And my professional life, I think it applies to all aspects of your life, not just to what you're doing in a gym or while you're working out. It's your whole life. If this is important, you have to look at what your capacity is and make the time for it, and that may mean making different choices than maybe I made in the past. I started here one-on-one working with Sam. For the first, I think it was about 4 months that I was here, I worked with Sam 3 times a week. Sam came up with the program for each session to address what had been identified. After doing that for about 4 months, I moved into the Ascend sessions. And the Ascend sessions are, Sam still creates a program for me, and still we check in once in a while and check, reassess where I am, and then the program gets modified. When I first, I think, came here to Active Life, my goals were kind of amorphous. I just want to be healthier. I want to, as I get older, I want to maintain my health and vitality. And I knew one of the things to do that was building muscle mass. I also wanted to lose weight. And one of the things I've always wanted to do was just run a 5K. And every time I've tried to train to do that, I've not been able to do it. When I first worked with a personal trainer, this was probably about 10 or 15 years ago, when I had mentioned this goal, he had suggested I run on the treadmill for a little bit. I ran on the treadmill, and I ended up overtraining and getting a compound fracture in my left knee. I thought the problem was my weight. Sam said the problem wasn't your weight. The problem is muscles and your tendons and your ligaments are not really ready for you to be running like that. But we can design a program to do that. So we've been working for the last couple of months on a program that by the spring I'll be able to go out and run a 5K. And I already see the difference running on the treadmill, not having any knee pain. It feels great for me to be working towards this goal. I know for me, and this I think maybe goes overall to the idea of being here at Active Life, I've never been somebody who's experienced a runner's high, or even, I know some people even talk about they get that just coming to the gym. I don't get it. To me, going to the gym was always necessarily evil, which is maybe why it always had a lower priority. I don't feel that coming here. It's something I enjoy doing. I enjoy coming here, and maybe it's the personalization and knowing that all of this being put together in a way that makes sense. Sam has given me functional diagnosis, which I've given to my doctor. My doctor found them useful to figure out where my limitations are, and then also been working with a registered dietitian, and Sam has been in communication with the registered dietitian about what I'm doing here in the facility and how that fits in with what the registered dietitian is trying to get me to accomplish, which is the idea of not losing muscle, but I am losing the fat. It's still a little bit of a challenge to me to get away from looking at just the number on the scale and understanding that it's more than just my weight. It's my overall fitness and not just a single number. And I've talked to Sam about this, the idea that I may not lose as much weight as I came in here hoping to lose. I think I had set a goal for myself very much based on BMI, which was just, I have to get down to a certain number so that my BMI is below a certain number. I started to come around to the idea that that is not the most important number, that, looking at, I could get down to that number and not be healthy. I like kind of working with Sam and the other professionals here because I learned so much from them, and it's motivating to me. And I think it's also appreciate concern for me and the programs that they come up with, and even Sam picking up on the idea of that I always had this goal to run the 5K and had really just given up on it. And when Sam said, oh no, you're gonna do it, it reignited that passion in me to try it again. I think it's going to be an amazing feeling to actually finish one and say, oh, I've done this, and it's something that's been a goal of mine for a very long time, and to be able to say, I've done this.
I think active life has absolutely been the right journey and decision for me. I think it really fulfilled the goals that I had, which was becoming more confident, more comfortable, and more capable. I always say sometimes people don't know how much better they can feel. And now that I know how much better I can feel, I think I have that extra motivation to keep going, because I might have doubted in the beginning that this could feel as better as it does. So even if I'm tired or I'm lazy and I don't want to get it done, I never want to go back to that. My name is Nicole Bergman. I'm 36 years old and I've been with Active Life for 8 months. So I have 2 boys. They are 6 and 8, so first and second grade. They are really active. We're just getting into sports now. So, everything from hockey, baseball, lacrosse, still throwing a football with them on the beach, which, I was nervous about with that shoulder motion, and that's it. I just want to be able to throw a ball with the boys. I do think that one of the goals in joining Active Life was to be able to show the boys that mommy is strong too, and that sometimes you have to work through things that are uncomfortable. But it's funny when sometimes things in your body just don't work the way they're supposed to. And luckily, my injuries have been on my knees and my shoulders, and you have 2 of each one. So I think it became more noticeable because I could gauge it against the other shoulder or the other knee. And yeah, it's really frustrating when all of a sudden it's not doing what it's supposed to do, and it feels so different from the other one, something's wrong. Maybe a year prior to Active Life, I had started developing a lot of pain when I lifted my arm and not really having full mobility. After I had my kids, I was doing a lot of walking. We live in Long Beach, so it's very walkable. You want to put your kid in the stroller and take a nice long walk. They nap. So I was doing a lot of walking, and I developed a Baker's cyst on the back of my knee. Lived like that for maybe 4 or 5 years when I finally found a doctor who was able to confirm that he thought he saw a tear, and so they recommended surgery, and I had that done. So I wouldn't say it ever stopped my ability, but it definitely put kind of a red flag in your mind of there's something wrong, you have to take care of it, and you're only getting older. So it's not like your body's not necessarily going to start producing new things, and you're not necessarily going to fix yourself unless you take some actions, and really just taking responsibility of my life and my body became sort of a focus, and I think why I looked out and reached out to Active Life. I was nervous about getting into the gym because I didn't want to wind up with an injury. I've never been somebody who's comfortable with going to a gym. I'm not a student athlete, so in terms of having a good understanding of what equipment is or what weight is appropriate for me were things that were like nerve-wracking and just I was unsure about. So when I began at Active Life, first I was assessed pretty thoroughly in both like physical examination as well as sort of talking to me about what my injuries were. There was definitely limited mobility in sort of the range of my shoulder. And with the knee, it's more just being able to trust it. So I've done a lot of compensating. So I would say those were two goals really, is stabilizing this knee and then getting a better range of motion with this shoulder, as well as getting rid of the pain. So my Active Life professional is Justin. He really listened to some of my goals. He's been very kind in me being hesitant and at the same time, pushing me, like knowing where I can do more.
So Nicole's first started with not being too familiar with the gym setting, knowing how to navigate it, being more afraid of getting back into fitness because of her recent knee surgery, shoulder injuries. A lot of things were coming up for her. And now she is in such a phenomenal position. She's changed entirely. She's not even the same person she was before. We spoke about that in our last monthly check-in of like, you're not the same person you are, and she's happy about that. It's not like we were trying to change her, trying to be anything different. It was just, you're gonna see more opportunity to be a better person from us doing the things in here, because what we're doing in here is gonna make you better to do all the things you want to outside. So she wanted to be a positive role model for her kids. She's doing that. She's able to play with them, hang out with them, do it for longer periods of time and not have to worry about, oh, is my knee going to hurt? Is my shoulder going to hurt? And now she just has so much capacity to do more of the things she wants to. And it means everything to her, just giving her another piece of her life back.
I have had like a personal trainer before, but I would say there's never been that level of focus or sort of like opportunity, a very open dialogue about what my hesitations were. Again, like I can feel sort of intimidated by a fitness place or the pressure to perform based on what I think is sometimes like a blanket regimen. So knowing that there was somebody there really listening and that I was gonna get some actual personal training in a sense was really a relief. When I began with Active Life, there was definitely certain sessions which were educational, whether it was a block of time before we started the movements. There are definitely metrics, I guess, for what we're feeling, your RPE, how hard are you working, where you should be at when you're doing that. That way you can gauge whether you can do more or, stay the same or slow down.
She didn't see herself being in this position either. She really thought she wasn't ever going to be in a position where she felt comfortable enough to just get to the bar and to the weights and be like, I know exactly what I need to do. Seeing the evolution myself too with her has been even a great fulfilling feeling, because seeing her progress even further, her getting all the results outside of here, because of course all the things that we do in here is great, but for her to come back to me and tell me like, I did X, Y, and Z because of what we did today is the best feeling in the world.
About 6 months later, I would say that when it comes to my knee, I'm impressed by how much more stable it is. There are certain movements now where I can trust that it can bear the weight. And when it comes to my shoulder, I would say I am, with setbacks and hiccups every now and again, pain-free in that shoulder. The fact that I have certain mobility, just like simple movements, like being able to maneuver this arm like behind my back is possible, and that's wild. I'm like extremely happy and impressed by how much mobility this shoulder has gained. I just want to have the stamina. I want to be able to keep up. I want to be able to, go on hikes, be active at the beach. We live in like such a great place for walking and getting out there. The kids require so much energy, and I want to have that. I want to be able to kind of sustain that level of energy and activeness like as they get older and when I have grandchildren. So I think that was kind of my goal, is just to keep, not necessarily, Justin always asks me, you want to run a marathon, or is there sort of a concrete end goal? And I would say no, it's really just like living like this, like being active, not having to worry about, will I be able to? Like I know that I'm capable, and I think that's kind of the gift that I've gotten.
To not have an active life would be death to me. I like to be able to just get up and go and hike and play pickleball and do all of these things and be very active. My husband says I'm like a shark. I never stop moving. And that's when I'm happiest. I'm just an active person. And it's hard to be really active when you're in pain. About a year before I came to Active Life, I developed a hamstring problem. So I went to an orthopedist, and they did an MRI and they did x-rays, and they really didn't find, there was nothing torn, there was nothing really that they could see wrong. He said, well, you might have overworked it might be underworked. Didn't prescribe PT for me. Said, gave me a sheet of exercises and said, go home and do these. So I did, and they helped a little, but it never went away. And then what started to happen was, it was affecting how I walked because it really was painful. And then my left hip started to hurt. So now I was, okay, I'm an avid walker. I walk a minimum of 5 miles a day, every day. Play pickleball. I like to go hiking. I like to be active and out and doing things all the time. And I found that I was doing less and less and less because it really just hurt too much. Getting out of bed was hard. It was about a 10. It would take close to an hour for me to be able to really kind of walk with any kind of confidence that my leg wasn't gonna give out on me. Because what would happen sometimes is I would take a step and then it would just kind of collapse. I have a friend, can be negative sometimes, and she said, oh, wait until you're 70. It's all gonna fall apart. That's gonna be it. You're not gonna be able to do what you wanna do. And I was starting to think that I was gonna be that person. And I was like, that can't happen. What the doctor said to me was, oh, you'll be fine. There's nothing really wrong. And when I wasn't fine, after doing the exercises that he prescribed, I said, there has to be something else, because this is not fine. When I saw the ad, I said, it's worth a shot. I've tried everything else. The first thing that they did was an intense assessment on all of my flexibility, my mobility, my strength, how I was able to move. They assessed each area to see where you were tight, or you needed more space created so that you could move better, or you just weren't strong enough, or didn't have the mobility or flexibility that you needed to do certain movements. And then they prescribed specific kinds of exercises, whether it's body weight exercises, using dumbbells or kettlebells or bands or a variety of different things, specifically to help you take care of what those issues are. So when I first started working with Sam, she worked a lot on things with my hips, my joints in this area to kind of open things up. It was amazing, which is not something when you go to a regular gym, you walk in and they say, oh, you want to get stronger? So they're going to tell you to do curls and presses and this and that. The personal trainers that I worked with before never really explained why they were doing what they were doing for you. You would tell them what your goal was, and they would say, oh, well, you're going to do this, but they never really did an in-depth assessment. I kind of felt it was all about, they just wanted you to sign up with them because they wanted to earn the money. But I didn't feel that they had my best interest at heart, and I never lasted with them very long. I would do a few sessions and then I'd be like, I can do this on my own. With Active Life, I really feel like I've been educated and given tools that I'll be able to use on my own always. So it's very different, and they're very professional, and they really, really know what they're doing.
One of my goals was to be able to put my own bike on my bike rack, and she designed a specific bicycle press rotation of exercises where I'm doing this, not like a curl, but this, because that's the motion that I have to do to get my bike. The last time I checked, I could lift my bike 2.5 inches higher than I was able to when we first started. And she had me bring the bike down to Active Life. My husband drove the car with the bike rack on it, and she took a look and saw how high I could get it. And now 2.5 inches higher, I can do it. The goal is, before we leave for Hilton Head, I should be able to put it on the rack. When we first started, I always used the term cautiously optimistic. Now I am optimistic that I will reach that goal before we leave in January. I am able to run, which I wasn't sure I'd ever be able to do again from the way it was feeling, but I can run, I can walk my 5 miles plus a day. I am doing everything that I want to do, and I really feel that it's kind of saved me, brought me back to where I wanted to be, and I'm stronger. We're at Pickle and Par, where I play pickleball with a group of friends once a week for a couple of hours, and we are out there to have fun, some laughs. There was a time where I really stopped playing most of the time, unless I was with people where I could say, I can't run after a ball, so if it's going to be somewhere where I can't get to it slowly, you have to get to it. And if they were okay with that, I could play, but otherwise I kind of backed off and didn't play for a while. The one big difference between Active Life and the other gyms that I've belonged to was when I would go to the gym when I was feeling good and things were okay, and then when something happened, I was either in pain or got injured. Okay, if I had to go to a doctor, I went to a doctor. If I had to do physical therapy, I did physical therapy. Therapists would get me back to doing what I needed to do to get through the day, just to function, but never really addressed what I wanted to do, like the things I really enjoyed doing. Coming to Active Life, they addressed the pain, set up a program, got rid of it, talked about what other goals I wanted to work on, and I'm very happy and proud to say my goal of getting my bike onto the bike rack, I accomplished on Saturday. I was very excited that I was able to do that. So I think that's really the difference. They get you not only to do what you need to do, but they get you back to doing all the things you want to do. Playing pickleball, running after a ball, walking 5+ miles on the boardwalk, doing my bike. That's the real difference.
I don't want to be 75 and unable to get off the couch. I want to live an active life that's reasonable for myself. I don't want to be 25, and that's really fine, but I want to be a healthy 54 and forward. I want to be strong. I need to be able to walk comfortably and pain-free so that I can enjoy the time and not just feel like I have so much pain that I'm not able to go forward. That's just not where I see myself. My name is Lori. I'm 54 years old and a client at Active Life. So I am a director of guidance. I consider myself to be a counselor. I love being a counselor. I made the decision to go into administration a few years ago. It really just, it doesn't stop from the minute I walk in until the minute I walk out. Imagine putting out little fires every day. My job tends to be quite reactive. Education during a time of pandemic and post-pandemic has made that extremely difficult. My commute or my daily, I'm up probably about 4:45 each day and then going off to my job. It's one of those things with traffic. If I leave a little earlier, I could save myself about 15-20 minutes, which may not sound like a lot, but it is.
that when you're sort of sitting in that stop and go, I found that to be extremely stressful on my legs. And I get in, again, it's, you know, who needs this for me, who needs that for me? Okay, what was it that I thought I wanted to get done today? Quite honestly, most days it feels like I don't get those things done. So often I'm coming home from work. I may not be getting home until probably about 5:30, feeling like I have to continue that work that I could not get done. The emails don't ever stop. I had some injuries over the last maybe 6 or 7 years. I had broken a bone in my leg, I had broken a bone in my foot, and knew that healing from that created other issues, either with my tailbone area, with my hamstrings. I also felt that, you know, I have had a long commute for quite some time. I remember feeling pain when I was driving in and out of Brooklyn every day. You put it all together and it was just a tremendous amalgam of stuff going on. I had been in and out of different fitness facilities and different nutrition programs for at least a dozen years. And this just came upon me. I was walking through the farmer's market and there they were. And I thought, I don't know why something looked different. And I got involved in a conversation with Cody and agreed to a phone call just to talk a bit about the program and my needs. I had been experiencing a considerable amount of pain in my legs and particularly in my hamstrings, and was really just sick and tired of it, and didn't really believe that there was something for me, because it just felt like I was not right for any particular program. I cannot find what works for me, you know, just this is what's happening, this is where I'm at, just go with it. I would say active life is definitely about relationships first. And I think you get the sense when you walk in the door, or when that first phone call that you have with Cody, it's about the relationship. I will admit, when I was on the phone with him and thinking to myself, oh, he is going to tell me that I am not a fit for this place. And so surprisingly, he said, I think you'd be a great fit for active life, and which was pleasant to hear. But I remember again thinking, okay, we'll see. So once you start, you get an education right away. And the best part about this, it's not like I'm walking in, you're not coming in and someone's saying, here, do set of deadlifts. Your exercises, your work is tailored to what you need. So you go through an assessment and they look at your mobility and, you know, actually, and again, they all work in teams. So while I might be working with Sam, she's having a conversation with Kate, and she's having a conversation with Justin, and then she might go back and have a conversation with Dr. Sean. And so it's all, everybody knows who you are, even if you're not meeting with them every single day. Then the work, and as you're working, you know, they're writing down on the iPad, this is what we did, this is what she felt today, constantly assessing where you are in the pain scale from a 0 to 10. Okay, how do you feel while you're doing this? And okay, how is it now? And it's constantly, again, maybe this is the counselor in me, you're assessing throughout, and if something isn't right for you in that moment, you're not finishing it because it just doesn't make sense. So you're going to readjust your goals for that day. Okay, what's happening this week? What's going on with you? And instead of saying things like, no pain, no gain, that does not happen here. It's not about that. It's really what I need. I would say there were benefits immediately that made sense. So the learning pyramid and having those conversations about what stress looks like, what my load versus my capacity. Having a professional to look at that each week, and I would say within 3 or 4 weeks, noticing how that change occurred mentally, because it made sense. It also, if you're, I see myself as a little bit of a nerd, so when I'm learning something, it absolutely connects. I think the biggest things that have changed my mindset, what's possible. I definitely still have goals that I'm working towards. I don't ever come in here and say I can't or I won't. I don't ever come in here grumpy about working out. And when I leave, I always feel better. I think what's shifted is the mindset. This is so much more than just a gym. I see this as a health and wellness and fitness facility. I don't even know if that really encapsulates what this is. This is so personal. It has aligned with my physical, my emotional, I'll even say my spiritual self, you know, just looking at it from a very macro. If you're living your personal and your emotional self, I feel like that's just a natural progression. It's all of it. The professionals are just next level. Active Life is my new go-to partnership, part of my village, part of my team. It's an incredible mind and body altering experience for anybody that wants to make the investment in themselves for the long term.
We moved to Long Beach about a year ago now. And when we first moved, I didn't have a routine, I didn't have my act together. We were just kind of going with the flow and getting things done, like unpacking, unboxing, like doing all that kind of thing. Eventually, I realized I really wanted to get back to movement, and I started looking around town to see what I could do. You know, is it a yoga class? Is it a fitness studio? And I just, quite frankly, couldn't see myself confidently walking into a gym because I hadn't been moving for a little bit over 2 years, right? Between being pregnant, having my daughter, and then the move, I just wasn't feeling like I knew exactly what I could be doing by myself if I just walked into the gym by myself. My name is Jimena Galicia, and I have been at Active Life for a little over 6 months now. When I walked into Active Life, the priority at the moment was I can have back pain and I need this knee pain to go away because my daughter needs me to run around after her, pick her up, put her to bed. And there were days that I would ask my husband, I can't put her to bed, you gotta do it. I can't pick her up and rock her because that movement is just killing me. I just can't do it. The way I was putting her down, we tried everything at home. I was like, this is really just not good. So that was an immediate thing I needed. I was like, Sam, I just need this pain in my back to go away. I need my knee to feel better. Pia loves riding the bike with me. So it was very important to me that I could ride the bike back and forth with her on it, that I could put her to bed. And then a more long-term thing for me was, I just want to be 80 years old. I want to be able to ride my bike, walk to the supermarket, carry my groceries. I just don't want my daughter to feel like she needs to do things for me. I want to be independent. And I think that was triggered by kind of a lot of recent things that happened in our family where we realized our elderly parents and grandparents, had they done things differently, maybe they would be more self-sufficient. And so that was kind of a quick trigger for me. And I said oh my God, I don't want to be in this situation when I'm 80 or 70 or 56. So I need to do something today that can help me in the long run. It took me a little bit of time to commit to this. So I was actually going to Active Life very rarely. I think it was once or twice a week to start. And then Sam sat me down and said, listen, this is your program. You can do however you like it. But if you want to see results, you need to come a little bit more often, right? So let's work it out. Let's figure out how we can do that. So the moment that I started going 3 to 4 times a week, then that's when I started to feel things were improving significantly. To date, 6 months later, I don't have knee pain or back pain. And whenever I have a flare-up of any sorts, I am able to address it. I know what I need to do in terms of stretches, working out on certain parts of my body or doing specific workouts that week that would help and strengthen my back. And it was all about that. I really thought oh man, this is gonna require surgery, or like I'm gonna need to do something big about this back pain. And it wasn't. Like Sam was like, you just need to get strong. Like you just need to get your muscles to be strong, your core needs to be strong. Like that's all we need to do. Little did I know, like it was true, like it happened. Like I have no back pain. We travel a lot, we really like to travel. That's one of the things we like to do. We love being outside, we love being outdoors, and we love to travel. And so if we need to travel and want to travel, we need to be strong. Like you carry a suitcase with one hand and a daughter with another. And like that's been incredible for me. Like I really love how strong I've become, where I can go up the stairs with like the laundry on one hand, the baby on the other, and then God forbid she drops something, I can still bend over to grab whatever she dropped. I mean, it's great. It's been a huge improvement in my life. I mean, I came in here with the goal of like fixing my ailments and like fixing my knee and my back. But ultimately, I think I've just come out of this with like a lot more perspective on like, if you want something, you can get it done. You just have to prioritize that one thing that's important to you, and the rest would just fall into place. So I thought I would come out of this being like, oh, like it's all about like the muscle and the strength, but really to me it was a lot more than that. I mean, it's just, I weirdly am more happy. Like I'm just happier. Like I'm happier all around. Like I get my thing done, I come home, I see my daughter, and I spend all day with her, and it's great. And I don't have to think about like, oh, I gotta go to the gym. Like I don't think about it that way anymore. I'm just so excited. Like I go to bed at 10, I wake up at 5, I'm on my back at 5:30, in the gym by 6, and it's just like, I'm happy about it. Like it's like an all around beautiful experience because it's been great. I really like it. I don't want a program that ends and then I'm done. Like I don't want to end up in this situation of 6 months ago again in a year because I didn't move. So I want to be able to like continue on with this on my own, knowing that I can confidently do it without having to like set back into my old ways.
I'm 56 years old, and pretty much the doctor said, this is your knee. You're 56 years old, you have some osteoarthritis. These are the things you have to get used to with aging, and I didn't like that answer. I think the way PT is structured in our country is they like you to get to activities of daily living. So it's all about, can you put your shoes on? Can you walk up a flight of stairs? Can you function day to day? But I wanted a little bit more than that. I didn't want to be, okay, great, I can put my shoes on. I wanted to be able to put my shoes on and run on the boardwalk if I wanted to. And PT was not going to do that for me. My name is Beth, and in a month, I'll be at my 1-year anniversary at Active Life. I got to Active Life because I had meniscus surgery on my right knee in December of 22. I finished physical therapy and felt that I was not anywhere near where I needed to be. I felt, when I was done, I felt that, okay, I had a background in doing some of the exercises. Great, I knew how to do a squat, but I knew how to do a squat before then. My knee didn't feel 100%, and I knew that left to my own devices, I was just gonna stay stagnant. It was never gonna get better. I wasn't able to sit the way I always sit. I wasn't able to do compressions to extensions without feeling achiness in my knee. Walking up a flight of stairs was doable, but it wasn't comfortable. And I definitely noticed a discrepancy between my two knees, and I had a lack of strength in my right knee over my left knee. My yoga teacher told me that Active Life would be the place for me. So I walked in one day off the street and I met Sam, and I explained my predicament, and she said, you sound like the exact client that we're looking to reach here. So come on in, have an assessment, and let's see what we can do for you. Day one at Active Life, I worked with one of the professionals. We went through a program that was crafted just for me. The beautiful thing is you get an app on your phone, you can see what your program is before you ever come in. You can watch videos to see what it's going to look like, but you work one-on-one, so somebody is assessing the exact way that you move. So I believe the first day I started working out, there was a definite imbalance between my right knee and my left knee, and the professional watched every single rep, every single movement, and was able to pinpoint where I was lacking or rotating or not extending, and we tweaked the exercises from there. I worked out one-on-one with the professionals for 6 months. Working out with weights and strength training was just so foreign to me that I needed to push myself to walk in the door. Some of the exercises were certainly harder than others, but after 6 months, I got to the point that I can actually say I enjoy doing this. At the 6-month part of working out, I broke my foot by wearing a pair of clogs, just walking at work. A random accident. It made no sense. And then I was in a walking boot for 8 weeks and had to learn how to navigate exercising in this walking boot. If I didn't have Active Life, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have sat on the couch for 8 weeks and not done anything. They came up with a program for me to help me stay moving and working out for 4 times a week, strength training, even though I couldn't bear any weight on my right foot. And without it, I don't know. I can't even say what would have happened to me. So the beautiful thing I think about Active Life is that you're not your one injury. You're not your one body part. So even from the get-go, when my focus and my goal was to rehab my knee, we were still doing shoulder exercises, back exercises, core exercises, because you have other body parts and you need to be strong as a whole. Yes, we were doing specific things to target my knee, but on a day-to-day basis, they were asking, how is your body feeling? Any other body parts that are irritated, anything that you need to work on, and it's always a two-way communication. We pivoted. The day I broke my foot, I texted Active Life and said, uh-oh, you have to rewrite my program. I'm coming in tomorrow, I can't do legs. And I had a new program written for me. We started whole new exercises the next day. I think if I was a client in a normal gym, they might be intimidated by somebody in a device on their foot, using equipment, injury, how are you going to do things? Active Life didn't blink an eye. We just, okay, this is what we're presented with, now we're gonna work it. After my foot injury, the doctor told me I did not need physical therapy at all, which is kind of strange because if I hadn't had Active Life, I would not have been able to rehab my foot on my own. I would not have known what to do to get the ankle working again, the toes working again. But I was told no PT needed. I'm happy that they said no PT needed because I used Active Life as my PT, and I know I made improvements way faster than I would have made had I gone to PT. After 8 weeks, the boot came off my foot, and I mistakenly thought, great, you get the boot off and you're good to go. It's just a foot, it's a broken bone, it's healed, it's not my knee. It did not work that way. I had to relearn how to walk. I didn't realize that a broken bone in my foot would have now affected my ankle, my toes, the whole way I walked, because everything was immobile for 8 weeks. Immediately, the Active Life professionals rewrote a new program for me to help me rehab my foot, help get my knee back to where it was, and it's work. I'm putting in the work, and they're helping me get there. I'm not in pain at all in my foot or in my knee. It's just building strength. It took me a few weeks, but now I believe I look like I am walking normally without limping. I was limping for a while. I'm following all the advice and the rules, taking it slowly, not looking to run a marathon, but putting in all the work that's necessary to get me to where I need to be. I think day to day I have more energy, I have more endurance. I am less likely to sit on a couch and watch TV. I'd be sooner getting on the Peloton and just riding for a half an hour. It's really woken me up to overall fitness. I think what's next for me is ongoing working out like this. I'm 56 years old. I'm gonna do this until the day I die. There is no stopping. I would like to have grandchildren and be able to play with them. I need the endurance to do that. I want to be able to lift them. I need the strength to be able to do that. I want my body to keep functioning, and I think the only way that your body will keep functioning is if you keep strength training, you keep working out your heart, you keep eating well, you sleep well, you put it all together. So there's no end to the journey. The longer I am working out here, the further I go down this rabbit hole of how to take care of myself, how to own myself, how to be my own best advocate, how to age and be good with aging. And it's great. It's been a life-changing experience.